Railroad crossings. Railroad crossings are locations where roadways intersect with railroad tracks. Although they may appear routine, they are one of the most dangerous places drivers encounter on the road. In Maryland alone, there are over 188,000 railroad crossings. Some crossings are equipped with warning devices such as flashing lights, bells, and gates. However, many crossings only have signs and may not have active warning signals. Because of this, drivers must always approach railroad crossings with caution and awareness. One of the most important facts every driver must understand is that trains cannot stop quickly. A fully loaded freight train may take up to 2 miles to stop, even after the engineer applies the brakes. That means if a vehicle is on the tracks when a train approaches, the train cannot stop in time to avoid a collision. In this lesson, we will discuss the different types of railroad crossings, the warning signs drivers may encounter, and the safe actions drivers must take when approaching railroad tracks. Types of railroad crossings. Railroad crossings can be passive or active. A passive crossing has no mechanical warning devices. Instead, it relies on signs and pavement markings to warn drivers of the tracks ahead. The most common sign at passive crossings is the crossbuck sign, which looks like a white X with the words railroad crossing. Drivers must treat the crossbuck sign as a yield sign. This means you must slow down, look both ways, and listen for approaching trains before crossing the tracks. An active crossing includes warning devices such as flashing red lights, bells, lowering gates. When these devices activate, they warn drivers that a train is approaching. Drivers must stop immediately when warning lights flash or when gates begin to lower. Why trains are so dangerous? Trains are huge and heavy vehicles that move at high speeds. Unlike cars and trucks, trains cannot stop quickly. A typical freight train may weigh thousands of tons and travel at speeds exceeding 50 miles per hour. Due to their immense weight and momentum, trains can require up to 2 miles to fully stop even after applying the brakes. This means the train engineer cannot avoid a collision with a vehicle on the tracks. Even if the engineer sees a car on the tracks, the train will likely continue moving long after the impact occurs. This is why drivers must never assume a train can stop in time. The responsibility to avoid a collision lies entirely with the driver. Warning signals at railroad crossings. Drivers may encounter several warning signals at railroad crossings. Flashing red lights indicate that a train is approaching. Drivers must stop and remain stopped until the train has completely passed and the lights stop flashing. Lowering gates are another critical warning device. Gates are designed to block vehicles from entering the tracks when a train is approaching. Drivers must stop before the gate and wait until it rises completely. It is extremely dangerous and illegal to drive around or under a crossing gate. Doing so can place the vehicle directly in the path of an oncoming train. Never go around a gate. Drivers should never, under any circumstances, drive around or under a railroad crossing gate. Gates are designed to prevent vehicles from entering the tracks when a train is approaching. Attempting to beat the train by driving around the gate is one of the leading causes of fatal railroad crossing crashes. Even if the train appears far away, its speed and size make it impossible to judge distance accurately. Remember, a train traveling at high speed can close the distance much faster than drivers expect. When the gate is down, stop and wait. Safe driving practices at railroad crossings. Drivers should always approach railroad crossings carefully. Reduce speed as you approach the crossing. Look both directions along the tracks and listen for approaching trains. If buildings, trees, or other vehicles block your view of the tracks, slow down even more. Never stop your vehicle directly on the tracks. If traffic ahead prevents you from completely clearing the crossing, wait until the roadway ahead is clear before proceeding. After a train passes, always check both directions before crossing. Sometimes a second train may be approaching from the opposite direction. Drivers should also avoid distractions, such as mobile phones, when approaching railroad crossings. Full attention is necessary to detect warning signals and approaching trains. What to do if your vehicle stalls on the tracks? If your vehicle becomes stuck on the railroad tracks, act quickly. Immediately exit the vehicle and move away from the tracks. Move in the direction of the approaching train so that if a collision occurs, Debris is less likely to strike you. Never attempt to restart the vehicle while remaining inside if a train is approaching. Your safety is far more important than the vehicle. Conclusion: railroad crossings require caution, awareness, and patience. Trains are powerful vehicles that cannot stop quickly, and drivers must always respect crossing signals and warning devices. Remember these key safety rules. Slow down and look both ways when approaching railroad crossings. Always stop when lights flash or gates lower. Never drive around or under a crossing gate, and never stop your vehicle on the tracks. By following these rules, drivers can help prevent serious and often fatal railroad crossing collisions. Safe driving means making responsible decisions every time you approach the tracks.